Okay, so what we start with is the box of goodies that comes. Everything inside is for the model and is well packed, and actually the quality was very good. Very happy with the stock parts. You've got a good manual, you've got a PDB board, a distribution board, you've got mounts for the GoPro, mounts for everything else. I'm using a CC3D Mini, 7 grams, and I'm also using the DYS micro ESCs. You can see here they're about half the size of the Afros. I picked a Elite AV transmitter and camera system because the camera is very small and the all-up weight was also the lightest setup I could get with a target weight I'm chasing here. This is the servo that was recommended to be used with the model, and so far seems to be working well. And this is the PDB board and some LEDs I was picking. The PDB board has 5 volts and 12 volts out, so I can drive everything. Here you can see just some of the other accessories, the gear parts that go. First part of the build is working together the leg assembly. Actually quite simple, just pliers and tools. Motors are easy to install, looks quite clean. Everything is well laid out and well spaced, so it's an easy fit. The micro ESCs also fit within the recessed space. I've actually put a backing foam to secure them and a cable tie. That's the gear selection at the back, and then we go on to installing the servo for the back. I had a bit of a job with this because the gears were seized and I had to take a file to it and reduce the size down, but it did work in the end with a little bit of grease on it. The ESC fits nicely inside the arm, and I've also taken through the cabling for the video transmitter here. So you've got video transmitter and 2 servos coming back. The locking pins for the arm folding mechanism, fairly straightforward, it's a little bit fiddly to install. You've kind of got to press those down whilst installing the arms, but other than that, that's an easy fit. So pre-soldering all the PDB. This is the PDB with the back installed, so it saves a bit of wiring, and then I started installing all the power cables. This is a little bit fiddly because there's not a lot of space in there and I wanted it to fold. Eventually I actually changed the cabling on the DYS controllers for a silicon cable because it was more flexible and gave me a little bit more room. And it does all fit. I've got the LED sitting on the front there and it all goes together quite tidily. Okay, so once that was all installed, I've put the power connection to the side. This is now glued so that the connector stays in. I hate having that power cable from the battery flapping around, so that's much tidier. And actually the power cables all fit in there really cleanly. I've secured those back so when you fold the arms it's all strain relieved. Now I'm starting to bring up the ESC cables and all the controller cables for the flight controller, and checking that it still folds and the mechanism can move in and out smoothly without snagging a cable. I've over braided just to keep it clean, and I used a small cable tie holder to secure that at the back so it folds down flat. I couldn't use the stock anti-vibration mount that came with the CC3D controller because it's too small and there just wasn't room for it. So my flight controller, the vibration is decoupled with some double-sided foam, and that allows the cradle to fit on, and everything seems to fit quite tidily. A little bit of filing to get the radio receiver to fit on, but that was also quite an easy fit, and the antenna mount came with the CC3D, so a good deal there. Everything seems to be fitted quite tidily, the cables are nicely hidden, and it looks quite clean if I say so myself. So altogether, it's probably about an 8-hour build to do it to this level, but it was quite rewarding. I did have to reopen and resoldered 2 of the ESCs because the motors were spinning the wrong way. I tried to do this in software but couldn't get the software to cooperate, so in the end it was just quicker. Since this video was shot, I've actually flipped the camera mount up the other way to try and give the camera a little bit more clearance from the ground because it was picking up a lot of dust. But easy to program, and I think it's quite clean, and I'm very pleased with the build altogether. The servo mechanism, if you find your servo is not centered, you can loosen the 2 screws that hold the servo carrier and then just rotate it and put it back. So it's not a big deal if you've got it mechanically out of center. and last but not least, the tiny little FPV camera, which I'm absolutely blown away with. Really, really nice camera. Really happy with it. So that's my build. Hope the information is useful, and good luck with your project.